Removing and replacing parts. Compaq 14A000 notebook.
Tools you need. To remove and replace parts in this device, you should ideally have the following tools on hand: an anti-static wrist strap, a Phillips screwdriver, a flat-bladed pry tool, long-nose pliers, a flathead screwdriver, a Torx screwdriver, a triangular pry tool, a pair of tweezers, thermal grease and cleaning alcohol, a suction cup, a cuticle stick, a SIM tray eject pin.
How to replace the battery.
Removal. Slide the battery lock latch to the unlocked position. Slide the battery release latch to release the battery. Rotate the top of the battery back and lift the battery out of the battery bay. Replacement. Confirm that the battery lock latch is in the unlocked position. Tow the battery into the battery bay and rotate it in until it locks into position. Slide the battery lock latch to the locked position.
How to replace the service door.
Caution. Observe all precautions when removing and replacing components. Before you begin, remove the battery. Removal. Loosen the captive P1 Phillips head screw that secures the service door to the base enclosure. Use a non-marring tool or your finger to carefully pry up and release the service door locking tabs that hold the service door in place to the base enclosure. Lift up and remove the service door. Replacement. Align and tow the locking tabs on the wide end of the service door into the notches in the base enclosure. Starting at the wide end, press the service door down until it is fully snapped in and flush with the base enclosure. Tighten the P1 Phillips head screw to secure the service door to the base enclosure. Continue the reassembly. Replace the battery.
How to replace the memory.
Caution. Observe all precautions when removing and replacing components. Before you begin, remove the battery and service door. Removal. Note: primary memory is in the bottom slot. Secondary or expanded memory is in the top slot. If only one DIMM of memory is present, it must be installed in the primary bottom slot. The removal and replacement process is the same for both slots. Push both arms outward simultaneously to release the memory board to the spring tension position. Caution: when handling a memory board, use care to prevent touching the memory chips on the board. Touching the memory chips could damage or destroy the memory. Grasp the memory board by the edges and pull gently to remove it. Place the memory board in a static dissipative bag. Replacement. Grasp the memory board by the edges and remove it from the static dissipative bag. Align the notch in the memory board with the key in the empty board receptacle on the system board. At an angle, gently insert the memory board into the slot on the system board. Caution: when handling a memory board, use care to prevent touching the memory chips on the board. Touching the memory chips could damage or destroy the memory. Press the memory board down to latch the arms. Continue the reassembly. Replace the service door and battery.
How to replace the optical drive.
Caution: observe all precautions when removing and replacing components. Before you begin, remove the battery and service door. Removal. Locate the optical drive icon and remove the nearby 6mm P1 Phillips head screw that secures the optical drive to the base enclosure. Nudge the rear of the optical drive to partially eject it from the base enclosure. Grasp the optical drive and slide it out of the optical drive bay in the base enclosure to remove it. Replacement. Align and insert the optical drive into the optical drive bay in the base enclosure. Slide the optical drive into the base enclosure until it is fully seated and the locking screw holes are aligned. Replace the 6mm P1 Phillips head screw next to the optical drive icon to secure the optical drive to the base enclosure. Continue the reassembly. Replace the service door and battery.
How to replace the wireless LAN module.
Caution: observe all precautions when removing and replacing components. Before you begin, remove the battery and service door. Removal. Carefully disconnect the wireless antenna cable from the wireless LAN module. Caution: use care when disconnecting the wireless antenna cable from the wireless LAN module. A damaged cable or connector can degrade notebook performance. Remove the thin 3mm P0 Phillips head screw that secures the wireless LAN module to the system board and allow it to release to the spring tension position. Grasp the wireless LAN module by the edges and pull gently to remove it. Place the wireless LAN module in a static dissipative bag. Replacement. Grasp the wireless LAN module by the edges and remove it from the static dissipative bag. Align the notch in the wireless LAN module with a key in the wireless LAN module slot on the system board. At an angle, gently insert the wireless LAN module into its slot on the system board. Press the wireless LAN module down and replace the thin 3mm P0 Phillips head screw to secure the wireless LAN module to the system board. Reconnect the wireless antenna cable to the wireless LAN module. Important: connect the antenna cable to terminal 1. Caution: use care when connecting the wireless antenna cable to the wireless LAN module. A damaged cable or connector can degrade notebook performance. Continue the reassembly. Replace the service door and battery.
Find more helpful videos on our HP Support YouTube channel.